Okay, so as Luis introduced me, I'm Mike Fenton. I teach chemistry here at LA Mission, as well as I run the honors program. So Luis asked me to come give you guys a little brief intro to what the honors program is, in case you might be interested, because it may help you get into the school of your choice. Also, UCLA is pretty prominent. I see the UCLA shirt in the back, so that we have a special program associated with that. So I'll briefly describe the benefits. They range from the participating schools, from anywhere between priority admissions to priority housing, priority scholarships, and I think also registration, depending on the school. So on the website, which I'll introduce to you in a second, you'll be able to see what the participating schools are and what their priorities are if you were to transfer over from the honors program here. UCLA specific is called the TAP program, which is also part of the honors program. That gives students a decidedly advantage of getting in to UCLA. Approximately 75% of TAP community college students got in, whereas non-TAP it was about 25% admissions. So that's a pretty big difference, and helps you get in either to your primary major or your secondary major, your alternative. Let's see, for additional information, everything you need, we have a pretty extensive website. Let me see if I can manipulate through here. Maybe I'll put this down.
I could have gone from mine and could have find without logging in. Oh, perfect.
So you come over to the LA Mission website. Up top here you see where it says students. Move down the student services about 3/4 of the way, somewhere here, honors transfer program. And we have a lot of information on here. So like I said, most of our ambitious students, you need a certain GPA obviously, but it's very helpful to your admission into UCLA or other programs. You can come down here and you could read on the TAP program. You could also read on the other universities. We have agreements with like Irvine, Riverside, etc. And if you come down a little further here, you can see the benefits related to some of those programs. Let me see, right here. And you'll see if I enlarge this a little bit. These are the current partner schools and some of their priorities if you transfer, whether it be for housing, for admission into their honors program, or just admission to their university as a whole. So you have that available on here for those of you interested. And the last thing I think I'll briefly talk about is if you come to the side here over to the form page and you click on the honors application, this will get you started in anything you need to know. So this here tells you the requirements needed to get into the program and the things you need to collect in the packet to bring to my office or to, I guess, the first floor down below here. We have a student worker who takes care of all the applications and they'll come in.
You might want to know something about the projects. How many projects? How do you go about that once you're in the program?
Yeah, so this is to get into the program. So once you're in the program, I usually let people that are interested get to this point first before I take them through that. But on here, you go down here, I have the project expectations, which was actually designed primarily from the English department, which is why you're here now. And they're actively participating in their own set of the honors that falls within our honors system. So they're probably the most active department on campus for this. So we have a proposal associated with each project. You do a project in any UC transferable class. You make the arrangement with your professor. That's called a mentorship. And you develop a project and you do that for 5 different classes. When you complete 5, you complete the program, you get certified, and you gain all these benefits to entrance into different schools and other things associated with it.
So in terms of timing, I know we have the speaker. In terms of timing, can I borrow the speaker a second?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, in terms of timing, we have the summer coming up. You have classes you're completing right now. This would be a great time. Apply to the program, get accepted if you have the correct criteria. Then meet with the professors in the classes that you have and start your projects, get them done during the summer. So when you actually apply in the fall, you'll have that done and under your belt. That would be a great thing. Timing is really a very important factor here, so keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions, you could email myself or Afri Walker, the counselor, with any questions associated with it. I tend not to want to give over information, just let you get integrated to know what it is, give you some brief information associated with the program. If you're interested, then I know you'll seek me out and we'll go ahead and work you through this whole program. Okay? So other than that, good luck. Sure. Mm-hmm.
And students ask you this, is it still possible, once they, let's say, complete 101, to do an honors project for 101? Like
Yes. So basically, the question is, can you take an honors course after you've already taken the course? And the answer is yes. Okay? So you can, yeah, I make it very flexible so that you can complete all the projects within a time frame that allows you to transfer appropriately. So we don't want to hold you back.
You know, like I had students that were in my 101 class, and then they found out, oh, that's a lot of extra work for that honors project, and they couldn't turn in all the regular work and the honors project, so they gave them extra time.
That's right. At summer, winter break, whatever arrangement you make with the individual professor on your project, then that's valid as far as our department's concerned. We're okay with if it extends beyond the semester, that's perfectly fine with us. And if you have something where you want to go back to get a class to finish up your 5 projects and you want to go back to a class you've already participated in and completed, then you come talk to me and we'll try to arrange something, but you still need to arrange that with the professor you took the class with, because the projects will focus primarily on a major topic within that class that you took. And then, of course, I can guide you along the way with your professor in that topic. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
Any
sure.
other questions? Is that good?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Okay. One thing I'd like to say before we begin is that if you're planning to graduate or transfer directly to a 4-year institution or a college, institution sounds awful, you'll be institutionalized. If you're planning to transfer, you need to be on the ball. You need to know what you're doing. You need to be informed. It's all up to you. You have to have that motivation, that initiative. And I'm so glad you're here right now so that you can start preparing mentally and learning what you need to do. So I just want to make that really clear. The honors program, if you have that as part of your resume, it's a wonderful, wonderful factor that might help you, really will help you get into the university that you want to get into. Before we go specifically to English, and on the English website, by the way, there's a whole piece on English honors projects, so look at those, see what it's about, and then come and ask your professors questions. If they're not aware of the honors projects, because I know Veronica Cox-Diaz was really instrumental in helping to write that up, and we all thought it out together, but she was the brain person there. But not everybody's aware, especially adjuncts, they're on and off campus. So talk to us and we'll work something out. We're here, first of all, there's going to be 2 parts. It's not going to take forever. First part of this is going to be about the English major, okay? And to let you know what that's all about, and hopefully you'll get inspired and maybe it'll be something you want to pursue. We reinstituted the English major a year ago, so we have our first group of students who will be finishing the program at the end of this month. And it is really exciting. How many people in this class are English majors? And yeah, like half the class, okay? So this will reinforce some things for you. Maybe you'll find out some things you didn't know. We're going to have them talk a little bit once we get through the various parts. But first, let me explain what the English program is about. Then we're going to have a section on transfer, and then specifically David Barba, who's the peer mentor from UCLA, who'll be speaking about the UCLA portion. Miguel Sandoval, of course, for the Transfer Center. So that's basically the lineup. English, transfer, UCLA, in that order, hopefully, okay? First of all, if you've taken 102, how many people have finished 102 already? Okay, you are all ready to do this program, amply ready. Even if you haven't taken 101, it's still feasible. But if you've finished 102, there really aren't many classes left for you to take next year. The one thing, I'll show you which classes they are. The one thing I'd like to say is that they're only offered once a year on a rotating basis. So you have to be on the ball. It's time to register. If this is your major, you need to register now. And there'll probably be a lot of outside people who won't be majors, but they just want to take a Brit Lit class. You want to be in there before them, especially if you're an English major. Okay, so very quickly, let me show you the, I don't know, let's see, I think I can close that. And I think it was maybe here? Yes. This is the English Discipline website. And what I'm showing you right now is where it says English Major, Important Information. Here's the English Honors Project, the information for that. But for the major, let's have a look at that very quickly. You'll see the required courses up here. English 101, which you've already done, hopefully. 102, you might be in the process of doing that right now or finished. Then, what do you have left? 205, 206, and 208. And those are required classes. So 205 and 206 are British Literature 1 and 2, and 208 is American Literature. Now this class is, 208, I'm sorry, 205, 206, and 208. Which class is this right now? So you've got that one knocked off too. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah.
I noticed that in this, for fall, only English Literature 1 is being offered. Is that what you were talking about, how you're going to rotate the classes?
Let me
so English Literature 2 is going to be offered in the spring, and 1 is going to be offered in the fall?
1 in the fall, and spring is 2. That's right. Okay. Yes, you've got to be in that class on time. Yes.
But now
Let me finish up. Let me finish up the full picture before we do questions. Maybe I'll answer some questions with that before we get there. Maybe they'll already be answered. But basically, these are the required courses. And yes, your question, down here you'll see the schema. 205 is in the fall, 206 is in the spring. Okay? You also have 208, which will be, you're taking right now. If you haven't taken it, it will be offered in the spring, just like it is right now. So they're on a rotating yearly basis. But besides the required classes, you have to have at least one of these classes. We have the Creative Writing 127. That is especially recommended if you plan to go on for a Master's in Fine Arts in Creative Writing, because we have 2 directions. One is literature and one is creative writing. I strongly suggest that you take 2 electives. The creative writing, so you have that option, and also the literature one, so you have that option, and you don't have to make that decision now. That'll just help you out a little bit. So you have your choice, or you need at least one. Creative writing, World Lit, which will be offered in the fall, and let's see, English 240, which is literature and motion picture, in the spring right now. I will be teaching 205 and 206, as I did this year. Dr. Grant will be teaching the world literature. Oh, you know? Parthenia. We discussed this in the fall. Yes. And Carolyn is the world lit. Oh, I'm so sorry. You guys know better than me. I'm just the chair. Okay. So Dr. Daly will be teaching 203. Oh, that's right. And then you have the creative writing, the 127. That will be, yes. And then in the spring, I will be teaching 206. 208, again, will be Dr. Grant. And 240 will be Dr. Daly. So just, this is what we're proposing anyway. So the important thing is that you see the classes you need, and you also see that they're on a rotating basis, so you need to get in those classes for fall. You need to have a plan, basically. Okay? Just very quickly, before we move on to the transfer part, well, a couple of things about the English program. First of all, you know, we start with British literature, and it's archaic. We start at the very beginning. That could be a little daunting. However, I can assure you that I make it very, very doable. You know, very, very doable. So in terms of Old English and Middle English and such, it's something we study, but it's done in a very manageable way. So don't be afraid of it, is my point. And it really is very exciting in terms of content. So the other thing I'd like to say very quickly is that we have a sense of community for our English majors. It's really a very closely knit group. And they've been extremely successful this year. I'd say maybe about, it's hard, haven't done a tally, but 22 students are ready for transfer. And they've gotten into all kinds of universities, and they've been very successful with their university applications. Very successful. In fact, one day I counted 7 admissions to UCLA. That's amazing. Well, you have a lot of overlap. You have a lot of the same students. And then maybe some others as well. Yeah, and Berkeley, and Riverside, and Davis, and also Northridge, of course. Let's not leave out Cal State, and some of the Cal States as well. But an overwhelming number to UCLA, and a sprinkling to Berkeley. So I think the English majors have done rather well, and I'm very proud of them. So it's been a special group, and there's been a real sense of community. One of the things I'd like to say, too, is that not only will you be responsible for developing your research skills, as you all know, those of you who have me, right? And writing properly using MLA formats. You'll have all of those technical skills down pat, which will serve you for anything you want to do in life. I can say that without hesitation. But the other thing is, too, we've put in a real creative element, too. So it brings it to a higher level where you have to take all of these, all of your research and such, merge it with technology, and make packets that are presentable and exciting to the rest of the world as well. So if anybody would like to see the projects, I'd be welcome to show them to you. We have you have a site up or running? Very good. Okay, and my class has a Ning too. All the class projects are up, and they're all variety of techniques. But so it's yes, I think we're really at a higher level because it goes beyond what's basic, and I think it brings it up to the times that we're in terms of technology too. And there's a real creative aspect to this as well. So I welcome you, and I hope that you enroll in your classes really soon. Dean Swerdlow came in. So if you would like to say something to the students, we reinstituted this degree a year ago, and the other instructors in the room are aware of this. We were not able to have a major for many years. We really didn't have a student body that was excited about it, and we didn't have an administration that was excited about it. So when Dean Swerdlow said, "Why don't you do this?" I said, "Really? You support us? We can do that?" So thank you very much, and
thank you.
we need to pop this up.
Oh, okay.
There we go, because it's being...
Hi. A few of you look familiar.
Maybe you want to go away from the light. There you go.
My name is Nadia Swerdlow, and I'm Dean of Academic Affairs. And my bachelor's, master's, and PhD are in English, which probably explains why I came to Louise and said, "Oh, please have an English major." Let me ask you something. How many of you are a little nervous about what your family, parents will think about you wanting to be an English major? Wow. Nobody? Really? Oh, okay. Because I came from a family of immigrants. This English wasn't my first language, and my family was extremely upset because they wanted me to do something where I would get a really good job. Do you know? And that's not uncommon. I see some of you are nodding. So I'm going to tell you the 2-minute version of why the English major will get you a job, all right? As Louise said, the research skills, there are very few majors that can match the kind of research skills that you will develop. And you'll remember this a few years from now when you're living in the library. Also, the writing skills. English majors are known for being excellent communicators and researchers and analytical thinkers. So in my time, I've been offered jobs just casually in banks, you know, for business. And I have some articles which I'll forward to Louise, or maybe I already have, where they did national surveys of businesses of all kinds. And the #1 skill that they said was missing in most of their employees and that they really required was excellent communication skills coupled with analytical skills and the ability to communicate across people with different backgrounds. And you will certainly be thought of as that way. So tell your parents that, okay? And it will also get you into probably law school. English used to be the classic major for law school, precisely again because of the analytical skills, the logical skills that you develop, etc. So you will not be, wasting your time doing that. But for me, I started off as a studio art major, and I switched to English to do something practical, which tells you a lot about me, but it turned out okay. I was never not employed. So that's all I'll say, because I know you have a lot to talk about. Feel free anytime if you want to, talk to as many people as possible about maybe what it's like. I never thought I was going to get a PhD at all. Oh, that's the other benefit. English majors, especially if you go for a master's or a doctorate, often are used as the freshman composition teachers. So unlike many graduate students, when I finished my PhD, I had 6 years of almost full-time teaching to my name. And it opened up a lot of teaching doors. Other majors, maybe a person might have been a TA, where they report to an instructor or do a discussion section. English graduate students teach as independent instructors. They teach freshman comp. I even got to teach upper levels of ESL and writing the research paper. So for those who you want to go on, always apply for a teaching assistantship when you become, if you go to a master's. It will normally pay for your tuition. So it's a great graduate program that way. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
I had all my tuition paid for master's and PhD, plus I got a token salary. And that's not uncommon in English. So that will take care of, 6 years of tuition payments should you decide to go to graduate school. So thanks again. I will undo myself here. Okay.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for, most importantly, for all of the support that you've given us and our students. Thank you.
I've got to go to another meeting, but yeah, you're all welcome to stop by.
Thank you. Thanks. And I'm sure if we go around, the instructors have personal stories. I did 2 years of pre-med at UCLA before I went over to the Humanities. And I just realized I didn't like what I was doing. And I was having so much fun in my humanities courses. And what am I doing? I hate organic chemistry. What am I doing here? Because maybe I should change my major. And I jumped around majors quite a bit, and it all turned out fine because I used those science classes as electives. But follow your heart and do what you feel you need to do, and you'll be successful. I'm really convinced of that, no matter what you do. I wanted to show you very quickly, very quickly, on the English homepage, I had posted a little article, are you considering an English major? I cited an article that I found on Yahoo. And I just put this on the homepage. About a month later, I got an email from the author of this article saying, I was doing a little search on myself, what you do at 1 in the morning, right, when you can't sleep. And I saw you put this. I'm so excited that you put my comments about how valid an English major is on your department website, because, and she said her family was very anti, and she changed her major to business. And it was only after she was in the corporate world for a few years that she went back to school and got her English major. And she said it really worked out very well because she does internet journalism. And she lives somewhere, I can't remember where, in the Midwest or somewhere, working out of San Francisco, and she doesn't go to work. She works from home. So, there are these opportunities, and especially coupled with technology, things are really changing drastically. Let's take a few minutes, I have my eye on the clock, for the English majors to talk a little bit about the program, if you don't mind. And the only thing is we need to move the microphone back and forth. Who would like to get up and answer any questions? Come on, don't be shy. Come on, Allison. No, oh, don't make me beg. Andreina. Okay, who else? Plenty of people here. Marco, Christopher. Well, Marco, you're English major, right? Christopher, he's not here. Chris, you're thinking about it. Sylvia. We've got lots of, yes, right? You're in the middle. Stand up. Maribel. Do I need to go around the classroom and name you one by one? Help me out here. You'll edit this out, right? Elvis, yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And you will need to hold this as you're talking. But perhaps just like a 1 second, how has the program been? And what are your impressions? Anything you'd like to tell them?
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Oh, no. Yes.
Okay, so hi, everyone. I'm really excited about this program. I started at Mission College about 3 years ago as an ESL student. And my first, my major, my main goal was just to learn English. That was the only thing I wanted to do. So as I went along taking my ESL classes, I liked the environment, the professors, everything really nice at Mission College. So I saw it as my home. About the program, I really like the classes. It's something different for me. I still need 2 more classes to complete my major, so I'm already enrolled for the 2 English classes I'm going to take during the fall. So I hope all of you also have enjoyed these classes. I'm pretty sure you have with these amazing professors we have, Dr. Barbado, Dr. Grant. So I just wish you the best.
Professor Smith.
Yes. I've heard about Professor Diaz. I've heard about her, but I've never had any class with them. Next.
Thank you, Anthony. And she couldn't speak English when she came. Can you believe that? And she writes amazingly.
Hi.
Sing, dance, and perform.
Well, yes. At first I didn't plan on having an English major. I really didn't. But then I thought about it and I said, well, I like to read, I like to write, so, well, why not? So, ever since I started taking the English classes, I've really enjoyed all of the history that I've learned. I've enjoyed writing the papers. I even enjoyed watching the other projects that were presented in the classes. And I'm telling you, when you start the English classes, you won't regret taking any of the classes because all of the teachers are very cool, and they all teach you something. They all teach you a lesson that you will never forget. All I can say is that it's a wonderful experience, and I look forward to take my creative writing skills elsewhere and, share all the love with everybody else. So it's cool.
Thank you. Elvis.
Oh, hi everybody. Basically, I've been here for about 4 years now. I started out at a low, English classes, and I gotta tell you, just don't give up, because even though it took me this long to, because I pretty much finished all the requirements and took classes that I probably didn't even need for other English requirements. Pretty much just don't give up. Pretty much in my second year, I guess my counselor told me, are you sure you want to be an English major? You're kind of failing some of your classes, So he thought I should change it, but I thought about it after a while, but I'm you know what, I really want to do this. And after, telling myself that not to give up, I kept going, and pretty much this is where I'm at. So, follow your dream, keep going, and just don't listen to people who tell you can't do anything, Just, listen to, what you want to do with your life.
Great. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you. And anybody else would like to speak? Kind of testimonials, huh? That's it? Thank you. You had the courage to do that. And the others may be a little quiet. They're not quite in class. I don't know what's going on here. But, I highly encourage you. Now we're going to any questions about the English major? Anything at all?
I'm considering it.
Good, great, yes. Do we need to take English? Oh, this is a great question, because somebody from UCLA visited your class, I believe. You're from UCLA. Oh, from Cal State. UCLA. It was.
No, it was Cal State.
Make up your minds. It was Cal State LA. Let me answer to that. Let me answer to the question, okay? I actually, Dr. Grant asked me about that, and last week I spoke to the articulation officer, Madeline Hernandez, and I said, what is this about 102 not being valid and only 103? And we looked for the UCs. They are equivalent for UC. So you can either take 102 or 103. We're not offering 103 at the moment. Okay, so that is the deal with the UCs. As far as the Cal States are concerned, I'm very much aware of articulation with the Cal State system. In fact, we just put in a new major, communication studies, which is going to the state for an approval. It's not quite ready, but next year it'll probably be good to go. So I've been very active in that. And the problem with the Cal States is that every single campus has a different program and a different way of accepting courses to go over to the other side. So there is no way you can satisfy all of the requirements for all of the schools, but what I did when I put this together with the help of different people, wasn't by myself, I tried to take the courses which apply to the most places. So you'll be pretty good no matter where you decide to go. And you might end up taking one extra class or whatever, but in the end, it's all good. You're not going to get better than that. It's just impossible to fulfill all the requirements for all of the schools. But they know that, and they're pretty accepting. Okay? What the Brit Lit 1 and 2 is required almost everywhere. And then if you go the creative writing route, they have different classes as well.
Well, with the American Lit, because that's what we're doing this
Right.
semester, so only this one semester is required?
Most places require one semester of American Lit, and usually it's the modern. That's why you're doing that, okay? And again, it's random. In fact, that's why they just passed a new state law to fast track the degrees given by community colleges, but those degrees need to be developed. I just developed a degree, so I know what that's all about. But English actually is the next one up on with the group of degrees that they'll be considering. So probably next year we'll have a fast-tracked English, but just for the Cal States. Believe me, you're good with this program. It'll give you flexibility to go just about anywhere. And that 102, 103 thing, even the articulation officer said, what is that about? She took out the paper and said, here it is right here. It says equivalent. So I'm not sure what the problem was with that.
The worst case that she said was that they do accept the 102, but they're going to make you
take 103. And it might be one specific university, if that's Cal State LA, I don't know. It could be. And we could look into that as well, because we can ask for a re-articulation or something like that. But it's not the UCs. I had heard UCLA, and I said, what? Okay, so we're good. Very good. Any other questions specific? I'll turn it over to the transfer people who are waiting back there to do their thing. Anybody else? Good. Okay, come join us in English. It's lots of fun. Miguel and David, okay? So I'd like to introduce Miguel Sandoval. He has his fingers in every pie imaginable. I mean, not literally, but figuratively. I don't know, how many hats do you wear, Miguel? You're, what? Transfer. Here, let you talk, okay? He can introduce himself.
Okay, give me a second.
There you go, thank you. I didn't even know how to introduce him because he does so many things.
So let's let this thing load.
No, any questions while we're waiting, or you're all good? We have a sense of community that's really important in our classes, and I think you don't get that with the community college, generally speaking. Our students really know one another. They do projects together, we get together on weekends.
I'm going to use this second,
we have
okay?
really a group that's very, very close. I
So, good evening, everybody. My name is Miguel Sandoval. I'm actually a TPP counselor. That's my first role. So I'm the TPP counselor, the full-time counselor in regards to if you guys want to be teachers, whether you be transferring to a UC, a Cal State private school, I'm the person you see. My second job is that I'm also a transfer counselor at the center. So in terms of all your transfer needs, I'm there to help you. My third assignment is that I'm a career counselor. So I'm also there if you need career assessments, anything like that in terms of interest, skills, work values, all that good stuff. I also do that. Previously, last semester, I was also down there, South Campus, Bungalow X, as a KC GED counselor, working with ESL, civic students, any students trying to get their high school diploma, their GED. And then prior to that, I was downstairs in the math center. I was a math counselor. So there's been a couple hats that I've worn on campus, but that's the life of a part-time counselor, in terms of trying to get those years of experience to hopefully someday land a permanent tenure track position. So my question is, how many of you guys are planning to apply to a UC school? Okay, several of you guys. What about Cal States? A couple of you guys. What about some private schools? Not really. So it's mostly UCs and Cal States. The main differences between them is that typically the UC schools are broken down into 3 tiers. Tier 1 is typically UCLA, UC Berkeley, and UC San Diego. Tier 2 is UC Davis, UC Santa Barbara, and UCI, UC Irvine. Tier 3 is Riverside, Santa Cruz, and Merced. Merced and Berkeley are the only 2 schools that are on a semester system. Typical transfer GPA is a 3.0. Minimum eligibility GPA is 2.4. If you have less than a 2.4, realistically speaking, if you apply to a UC school, it's not likely to happen that you're going to be admitted. And this was told to me when I went to a UC conference. It's like, it's not that you're being mean to the student, but let the student know that if they have less than a 2.4, if they're applying, they're probably just spending $55 to process the application, and they're probably going to get a rejection letter. So, something to think about. For the Cal State system, minimum eligibility GPA is a 2.0. For the Cal States, you don't need an essay, a personal statement. For the UCs, you do. I would say once it comes time for you guys to apply, really work on your personal statement. Even if you're doing TAG, do you guys know what TAG is? Yeah, some of you? It's the transfer admissions guarantee. We typically do it during the fall semester. So if you have about 30, 45 units, you can actually apply for TAG. Once the TAG goes through and we review it, most students end up knowing beforehand if they're going to be admitted or not. When that happens and the regular application period starts in November, you still need to do your regular admissions application. So there's a difference between your TAG and your regular admissions. The TAG, once it gets approved, let's say it goes through and they say yes, you still have to meet all your requirements because that's a contract that you're basically between you and the UC school. If there's some differences that you drop a class or you get a W or an F or a D and you don't pass it, that can be retroactive. And they can say, you know what, admissions denied. Same thing when the regular admissions comes. So it's one of those things where you guys really need to stay on top of things, and really, really stay competitive with your classmates because every year the applicant pool is different. And it also depends where you're applying to. In terms of transfer. For the Cal States, there's a little bit more flexibility. There's 23 campuses. So for them, the classes, you can have maybe 1 or 2 missing at times, and you can still probably get admitted. For the UCs, it's a little bit more complicated in terms of that. Now, what I have here is the IGETC form. So if you're looking into both systems, what you want to have done is as much of this form as you can as possible. The first section is your English section. It's your English 101 and your English 102. After that, it's your oral communication. That course, you can complete it if you're considering a CSU. If you're not considering a CSU, you can also skip it. But if you're going to need the units, you might as well take that course. For the math section, the first class that you can actually take is the Math 227. Here on this form, the 240, it's only CSU transferable. It's not UC transferable. So be careful if you're taking that Math 240. Now, in terms of the arts and humanities, it's 3 courses that you need for this section. And then for your social behavioral sciences, you need an additional 3 courses. So it's by units. Questions? No?
Miguel, I didn't mention, that it should have, the English major has its requirements, but you have to have so many units
Yes.
filled with electives and specific courses to graduate.
I'll mention that right now. I'll mention that right now. Then, in addition to that, you have your sciences. You need a physical and a biological. Your physical science class can be without a lab. Your biological, most students end up taking Bio 3 with the lab, but you can flip-flop it. Now, here's the important thing. Let's say that you end up taking Astronomy 1 and then you take Anthropology 101. Have you met your lab requirement? No, so you still need to take a lab. Whether that be Bio 3 or maybe Astronomy 5, you still need to take the lab. I have a lot of students that come into the office and they tell me, you know what, well, I did one class and another class, I met the requirement, and I let them know, no, you need that lab class, that's a must. In addition to that, you have the foreign language requirement. Most students meet it by their foreign language in high school, whether it's French, Italian, Spanish, whatever it is, you need 4 semesters in high school. For us to give you and meeting this category, we need to see your high school transcripts. We can first see your own officials, but eventually you're going to need your high school to send the official transcripts from their office to our admissions and records. Once we see that, we can give you requirement met, but no units. Now, if you don't have that requirement met through high school, then what's going to happen, you're going to have to take a class here through level 2. Most of the time, we're offering Spanish 1 and 2. We don't offer that much Italian and French or any other foreign language on this campus. So that's going to be for this section. Now, in terms of your American institutions, same thing. Classes from this category can meet actually requirements from social behavioral sciences. We can actually have you meet requirements without giving you double credit. So what I mean by that is once we submit the paperwork for certification, we can't count 6 units. It's just 3 units, category met, requirement met. Now, in terms of your major prep, it's very, very important to have as many major prep done as possible. For example, for UCLA, it's English 101, 102, the 205, the 206, and then typically it's 3 semesters of foreign language and 2 courses of translation lit courses. Now, if you can go beyond the Call of Duty and take additional classes, that makes you even a better candidate.
One other thing, the courses for the English are articulated with UCLA. So if you take them here, they're accepted over there. And the articulation agreements vary from college to college. So we're working on the other schools as well.
Yeah. So once we count your major prep, your GEs, there may be a deficit in terms of units. You might have 50 units completed. If that happens, then we'll go ahead and look for additional units so that you meet that 60 units. So that 60 units for UC schools, it waives your SAT 1, your SAT 2, and it waives your A through G requirements. Okay? In terms of the Cal States, it waives the SAT 1. That's pretty much the gist of it, of the transfer center. Do you guys know where we're located? Mm-hmm.
What about, the mentality that they need to have as they're getting ready for transfer? What are some of the steps they need to do and be aware of starting now?
Starting now, the main thing is go see a counselor, whether it be in general counseling or in transfer center. Come see a counselor. It's always good to review your unit and your progress and where you're progressing, and realistically, potentially where you can be at in the future. Then after that, start trying to work on your essay. Maybe make a couple of notes. In terms of your essay, same thing. If you're gonna write from your heart, and write something that's genuine, because the people that read the personal statements, they're trained to pick up on, I don't want to say BS, but they're trained to, but I said it, they're trained to pick up on things that don't look like, it's at face value. So start working on that, and just, be true to yourself. I think if you put in the work and the hard work and the effort, you can be at the school of your choice next fall. But it's just laying the foundation, in terms of applying, This past year, it was a whole new process in terms of the application. The UCs were actually looking into everything, whether it was Math 125, English 21, some classes that weren't considered college level classes, they were looking at everything. It's a holistic application into who you are as a student. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's kind of like a lawyer's reviewing it, but you're being evaluated like to the nitty gritty of it. So once our application period starts, you guys are more than welcome to. We always help students come in and do their applications, whether it's their personal statements or reviewing the applications before you hit that submit button. We look at everything. We review it. We even have David who helps us out. So we have staff that are trained in there to basically help you guys out in terms of the whole process. In terms of your financial aid, I would say also submit it between the deadline, because the initial deadline is January 1st through March 2nd. If March 2nd falls on a Sunday, then it's the next day. So you guys need to be on top of things. Like I went to UCLA and I graduated from there. There's not really a lot of hand-holding. It's basically they just kind of throw you out there and it's like sink or swim. In terms of financial aid, admissions, applying for housing, getting into your classes, it's all up to you. How much do you want it? And then once you get through the grind and go through the process, once you graduate and get that degree, it's very satisfying because you really, really go through a lot. The change from community college to a UC school, it's very fast paced because I went from a semester to a quarter system school, and it's like you can drown there. I saw a fellow ClassBased transfer out because it was just too hard. It was just very, very fast paced. Exactly, and you know how people say that in some businesses it's cutthroat. UCLA was cutthroat. It was a place whether you make it or it breaks you. So there's a lot of challenges that come when you transfer, but very, very, very satisfying experience. Okay. Any questions?
Great. Questions, anybody?
That's good.
Questions, Adriana?
Is the Software Center open on Friday?
Yeah, we're going through a few changes. We're open Mondays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 4:30, Fridays from 9 to 1, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 8 to 6. Those are our hours of the center right now.
Somebody else here a student had a hand up?
And we can go in the office and you guys will help us out with the application and all that?
Yeah, once the fall comes around, we'll help you guys out with that.
Dr. Grant?
And I would say, last year, the students always waited for that week of the deadline in October, and they were lined outside my office until midnight with the deadline, with me helping them with personal statements. Please don't wait until the week before, because everybody else is waiting outside of my office.
Yeah.
And I was literally here until midnight.
It happens every year, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes the computers crash because,
Oh, you don't wait. No, you get it in a few days before.
Remember, it's not just you. We have freshmen applying. We have international students applying. People from everywhere are applying.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you so much. And one word, Miguel brought up about the application process. And we were saying, we didn't wait. One of the things we did in the Brit Lit class, the first assignment was the personal statement. And we actually had fun with it. Anybody who wanted to, we met round table at least 2 or 3 times, sat around a table, read each other's pieces, critiqued, and it was amazing. The students found more things than I found that needed to be adjusted, hearing it from different perspectives. So we had that all down pat way early. I was very proud of the students for that. So David Barba.
Yay.
There you go. Thank you. You need an introduction or?
No, I think I'll be
Got it?
fine. So there.
There you go. Thank
Go.
you. There we go.
All right, so my name is David Barba. I'm a peer mentor for UCLA. I actually work for Center for Community College Partnership. Basically, like, our goal is just to get as much diversity into the University of California system. Of course, we emphasize UCLA for people to transfer here, but our main goal is just to get as much diversity into the University of California. So pretty much, before you transfer, one major thing that you just have to really, really focus on is those major prep courses. I think I have the list right here. It's for all you English majors that are doing that. I believe it's English 101, 102, 205, 206, and those 5 semesters of a foreign language, or 3 semesters of a foreign language plus 2 world literature or foreign language classes, right? Yeah. So really just emphasize on that. Miguel really pointed out that I get these one way to go about things. It really gets all the other requirements out of the way. But the major thing that you do want to focus once you do settle on a major is get those major prep courses. And the best way to do that is you go to assist.org. It wasn't pointed out, but you go to assist.org and it just maps it out for you. It's as simple as that. You don't have to think about anything. All the guessing work's out of the way. The only thing you have to do is just really handle business in classrooms. Miguel mentioned that there's a TAG agreement, which is transfer admission guarantees. Pretty much there's certain universities of California that if you have above a 3.0 and you apply to their schools, you're automatically guaranteed admissions. And that's, I believe, UC Santa Barbara, Irvine, Davis, I believe. Well, pretty much the only ones that don't offer it is Berkeley and UCLA. So just food for thought for those of you that do have above a 3.0, apply to UCs. It's simple as that. You do have to go through the whole application, put in your grades, your extracurriculars, work on that personal statement. But if you do have above a 3.0, don't be shy, apply. And if you don't have a...
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't have above a 3.0, you can still apply. Actually, Elmer did this presentation last year. He applied to UCLA. He got accepted with a 2.8. What really set him apart was that he showed improvement throughout the course of his community college career, and that personal statement was just key for him. So when instructors here are mentioning work on a personal statement, don't wait till the last minute. Do not do that. I was here all this past fall just helping students with that. I'm shocked that you got that many people in the last minute, but it happens.
No, this has been since I've been for 7 years.
It happens, and that application's due between the beginning of October till the end of October. So don't wait till October to get started on that. The questions never change. They're always the same. And you can get that information just by coming to the transfer center. We have brochures, we have the questions, just so you don't have to wait for the application to be posted online. We have those questions that you can start working on them now. You tailor a beautiful application, a nice personal statement, which you show your struggle, you answer those questions, and really that's going to set you apart from all the other students that do apply to any university. It's really, really key. Can't emphasize how important that is. I mean, my friend, 2.8, got accepted to UCLA because of that personal statement, So, I mean, major preps, come to the transfer center. I'm here Mondays and Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Answer any questions. If I don't have the answer for you, I can guarantee you that we're going to get you the best answer possible. If not, we're going to figure something out together. Because don't want you to feel like you're doing this all by yourself. When I was a student at a community college, I bugged my transfer counselors, I bugged my EOPS counselors, my instructors, just anybody that can help me, with my grades, with my personal statement, just so you don't feel like you're doing this by yourself, because it's so hard. It just seems like it's a mountain that you're never going to climb if you do it all by yourself. You need that help. Don't be prideful. Just go in there and get all the information that you need, just so we can make this process easier for you. Seriously. Anybody have any questions right now? I guess I kind of try to cover everything. And also, yeah. Also, since I work for Center for Community College Partnership, if you can pass these out.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we have, we offer different programs that do help future transfer students. Where we do offer summer programs where we help you out with your personal statements. There's a 5-day residential program at UCLA that you can apply to. I know one person, at least in this classroom, that's going to apply. Yeah, there you go. So we help you out with your personal statements. We show you pretty much what it is to be a UCLA student. You know, if you want to live on campus for 5 days, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. If you're an honor student, really, it's just we don't necessarily take that into consideration. It's just you apply and we accept you. You show up to the program depending on the time of the year that it's on there. It's usually during the summertime, and the way that these programs are available, the reason we make them available is because we understand that there's so many students out there that need the help, and the best way that we can give you that help or that information is if you can fill out one of these data cards. We shoot you out information of upcoming events to help you in the transfer process. So if you can also pass these out, that'd be great. Just fill them out, please. Turn them into me. And as soon as any information does come up with UCLA or any UC, we'll just go ahead and email it out to you. And also, I'll put up my personal email address. If you're a little shy about going to the transfer center, you can always just email me. I know that's sometimes easier for people to do. You know, instead of walking all the way here. Plus, you know, we understand classes, work, schedules get hectic. We just want to make sure that we do give you the help that you deserve. You know, please take advantage of it. Fill out these cards, you know, so we can just do our best to support you in this process right now. And again, I'm no one special at all. I'm a Spanish and philosophy double major at UCLA. I kind of worked the system. I was a philosophy major mostly in my community college, but I thought, well, what's the least competitive major that I can get into UCLA? Well, Spanish it's pretty competitive, but it's less competitive than philosophy. One thing that they don't tell you before you transfer is that if you have a lot of the groundwork done for another major, once you do get accepted into UCLA, you can actually apply for the double major. So for instance, if some of you are planning on minoring or double majoring, make sure to get all the major preps at your community college done. And let's say that your community college here doesn't offer certain classes. UCLA doesn't hold it against you. The only thing is whatever classes that you weren't able to complete here, you'll have to finish them up at UCLA or any other UC that you get accepted into. So please, it's nothing too hard. Just if you have any questions, please come see me, come see Miguel, and some of these instructors, I'm sure they'll be able to give you some more better information. But if you have questions about UCLA, just come see me. Don't be shy. I'll put up my email right now so you can all email me if some of you can't make it out to my office hours, Mondays, Wednesdays, 9 to 12. Okay? Any questions?
Thank you.
Do you have something to write with?
I have to think behind there. Can I have your microphone a second?
Of course you can.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David. That's really appreciated. To sum it up, you know, this was for English. We did transfer at the same time, but I really hope that you consider an English major. It's very doable. It'll give you a great background. So that's message number one. Message number two, transfer. I know we said the word UCLA over and over again, but there are many UCs. You really need to go visit the schools. If you could do it this summer, see what it's like. You might not like one because they have a lot of bicycles, you know what I mean? You might not like nature, so maybe Santa Cruz isn't your thing, or maybe it is. You really need to go to the various UCs. You might like Merced because it's brand new, and you have so much opportunity there to shine. Just because we have the 3 tiers doesn't mean that Riverside, Merced, and I can't remember the other one, that they're inferior in some way. A UC education is a UC education. I can attest to how valuable it is because I went to UCLA through undergrad and grad. My kids went to Riverside, and one's graduating now. The other one finished Boston Law School, University of Boston. They've done incredibly well. The thing is, get a place where you feel comfortable. Go visit. And the other thing is you've got to shine. You know, go to a place where you feel comfortable and you could be the best you possibly can be. It might be Berkeley. It might not be Berkeley. That's something you have to look at. Don't just go for the Gucci handbag and the name, marked name, you know. So think about that well and apply to as many UCs as you can. I always give this little piece of advice because maybe you're not considering Merced. Maybe you get into Berkeley, but Merced gives you a scholarship you can't refuse. You know? That happens a lot. They steal students from the upper tier universities, and they do it with money. So little known secret. So you might want to apply to as many schools as you possibly can. And then, of course, the CSU system is another very viable route. You know the difference between the two? The UCs tend to focus more on research, CSUs a little less, although they do have some doctorate programs now that they're instituting. So that's the main difference. And there again, you have to see the right fit for you. So good luck to all of you, and hope to see you in English classes next fall. Bye. Thank you all for participating.